After the massacre, Earth declared, "We will no longer be restrained." The morning after the massacre, Earth was silent. Cities that had once been alive with noise were now shadows of their former selves. Lucas Hall walked through the streets of New York, his eyes scanning the rubble that had once been skyscrapers. Smoke still rose in thin streams into the pale blue sky. The sound of sirens and screams had faded, replaced by the quiet of devastation. He had seen destruction before, but nothing like this. The alien coalition had struck with precision, leaving no one prepared to respond. Lucas was not a soldier. He had been an engineer, someone who fixed machines and helped design space stations. But now, in the aftermath, he was part of a small group tasked with coordinating survivors. Every day was a test of endurance. He moved carefully over broken glass and twisted metal, checking for anyone who needed help. Each time he found a person alive, it felt like a small victory. But the number of survivors was small, far too small. Claire Morgan, a fleet logistics officer, stood on a hill overlooking the ruins of the port city. She had flown here from the command station in Washington. Her role had always been to organize supplies and fleets, to make sure ships had the right fuel and equipment. Now, her job was different. She had to find a way to rebuild Earth's defenses and figure out how humanity could survive against a threat that had already shown it could destroy entire cities with ease. She watched as people tried to clear debris and dig through the rubble, their faces pale but determined. For days, Earth did not respond to the Coalition's messages. There were no threats, no angry warnings, no broadcasts of fear, only silence. The aliens did not understand it. They expected humans to beg for mercy, to show fear in the face of overwhelming power. Instead, the Human Council quietly began to remove every restriction that had been placed on technology. Long ago, humans had agreed to treaties with alien races. These treaties had limited the development of certain weapons, banned the use of advanced artificial intelligence in combat, and restricted human fleets from leaving certain sectors. It was a way to prevent conflict and maintain peace. But the Council knew that the Coalition had broken those agreements first. The massacre proved that restraint alone could not protect humanity. Lucas was called to a hidden command center under the ruins of Washington. It was built deep underground, reinforced to withstand any attack. Inside, the room hummed with machines. Giant servers lined the walls, their lights blinking. Men and women worked in focused silence, monitoring data, analyzing alien signals, and preparing new technologies that had been locked away for decades. "Welcome, Lucas," said Claire as he entered. She looked tired, her uniform dusty from travel, but her eyes were sharp. "We need you. The Council has decided to unlock everything, every system that was sealed, every ship that was grounded, every weapon that was forbidden." Lucas swallowed hard. "All of it?" he asked. His voice shook. He had worked on some of these projects, but only as a technician. He had never thought humanity would actually use them. "Yes," Claire said. "They want us ready, not for revenge, not for war, but for survival. The aliens have shown what they can do. Now it's time we show what we can do too." The first weeks were a blur of activity. Engineers like Lucas were joined by scientists, pilots, and strategists. They worked around the clock, waking only to rest briefly before returning to the underground rooms where human survival was being planned. Giant factories that had once produced civilian ships were converted to build fleets of warships. Artificial intelligence cores, sealed for safety reasons, were reactivated and taught strategies far beyond human capacity to calculate. Even with all this activity, Lucas felt the weight of responsibility. These machines, these weapons, were unlike anything the world had seen. In the wrong hands, they could destroy entire planets, and now they were in human hands. But Lucas knew something crucial: humans were different. Humanity had always faced disasters and survived, even when the odds seemed impossible. They had endured plagues, wars, and natural catastrophes. There was something about their spirit, their persistence, that made them dangerous in ways that went beyond technology. Claire took Lucas on a tour of a shipyard hidden in orbit. It was massive, far larger than any human had ever seen. Ships were being assembled with speed and efficiency that seemed impossible. They were sleek, armored, and equipped with weapons that humans had been forbidden to use for decades. But what made them more dangerous than their size or firepower was the minds guiding them. The AI cores had already begun learning combat tactics, predicting alien strategies, and suggesting maneuvers that no human commander could have imagined. "They won't expect this," Claire said. She looked out of the window at the stars. "They think humans are weak because we held back before. They think we won't fight back fully. They are wrong." Lucas nodded. He felt both fear and pride. Fear because of the power now in their hands, pride because humanity had not given up. They had been struck hard, but they were not broken. In fact, they were stronger than ever because now there was no restraint holding them back. As human fleets prepared, the first messages to the coalition were sent. They were simple, not threats, not promises of revenge, just statements of intent. "We are no longer restrained," they said. The aliens did not understand it. They thought it was bravado. But for humans, it was truth. Restraint had been a choice. Now choice was gone. Humans would act to protect themselves without limits. In the cities that remained, survivors began to organize. Volunteers cleared rubble, tended the wounded, and built shelters. Children, though frightened, began to play again among the ruins, laughter a small defiance against the horror they had witnessed. The spirit of humanity was alive, even in the shadow of loss. Lucas walked among them, helping where he could. He spoke to families, offered tools, shared plans for reconstruction. Each small act of courage and kindness reminded him why humanity had survived so far. Days turned into weeks, and the alien coalition began to notice changes. Sensors detected massive energy signatures from Earth. Ships that had been grounded for decades were now in orbit, fully operational. Factories churned out advanced technology at a pace that seemed impossible. Humans moved without fear, without hesitation. It was a rhythm that no alien could understand. Lucas and Claire worked tirelessly, coordinating logistics, guiding pilots, and supervising the activation of weapon systems. They met each night in the command center, reviewing data and planning the next steps. The weight of the responsibility was heavy, but they never faltered. They knew that if they failed, the consequences would be catastrophic. One night, Lucas looked out of a window at the stars. He thought of the cities destroyed, the lives lost, and the quiet streets of Earth. And yet he also saw hope. Humanity had survived impossible odds before, and they would survive again. Only now they would do it without restraint, without limits, and with a determination that no alien force could ignore. Claire joined him, standing silently at his side. She did not need words. They both understood that the coming weeks would decide the fate of not just Earth, but the entire galaxy. Humans had been tested, and they had been beaten down, but now they were ready to show what it truly meant to fight back. The council finally gathered for a public address, though it was not broadcast in the way most expected. There were no speeches of anger or revenge. Instead, a simple message was sent across every channel in the galaxy. "We will no longer be restrained," it said. "We will defend ourselves, we will survive, we will endure." Aliens who received it scoffed at first. They had underestimated humans before, but even the bravest among them began to notice the change. Humans moved with a confidence that had been absent for centuries. Technology that had been forbidden was now in full use. Fleets that had been hidden in plain sight now hovered at the edge of known space, ready for action. And yet there was no chaos, no panic, only quiet, deliberate preparation. Lucas looked at Claire one last time before returning to his work. The quiet determination in her eyes mirrored his own. Humanity had been humbled by the massacre, but they were not broken. They had chosen restraint before, but now they had chosen survival. And in that choice, they were unstoppable. As the first human fleet left orbit, moving into positions that no alien could predict, Lucas knew that the galaxy was about to see something it had never seen before. Humans were no longer restrained, no longer limited, and no longer to be underestimated. And in the silence after the massacre, that was the most terrifying sound of all. The alien coalition had never seen anything like it. Weeks after their attack, they were still trying to understand what humanity was doing. Scouts and probes that had monitored Earth before the massacre reported strange activity. Huge energy signatures, unlike anything they had seen, moved across the planet and into orbit. Ships that were supposed to be old and unused were now operational, and entire fleets were forming without warning. The aliens could not believe it. Commander Rylock, a veteran of many battles, sat in his command hall on the flagship of the coalition. Holographic images floated in the air showing Earth and its new fleets. He rubbed his mandibles nervously. "How is this possible?" he asked. Our sensors show weapons that were forbidden, fleets that should not even exist. They move with precision. They are not panicked. They are organized. General Vera, his second-in-command, shook her head. Humans always surprise us. We underestimated them before and we paid for it. They were restrained by treaties, by choice. Now that choice is gone. They are preparing in ways we cannot understand. On Earth, Lucas Hall worked in a command center far beneath the ruins of Washington. Every day, new information came in from scouts, satellites, and hidden bases. Engineers and scientists worked tirelessly to upgrade ships, weapons, and defense systems. Every move they made was deliberate, designed to prepare humans for the possibility of another attack. Lucas often stayed late, checking systems and making sure every detail was perfect. Claire Morgan moved between the control rooms and the shipyards. She coordinated pilots, engineers, and logistics teams, ensuring that ships were ready for deployment. She had seen humans push limits before, but this was different. The Council had removed restraint, and humans were acting with a calm confidence that no one, not even Lucas, fully understood. The Coalition sent envoys to observe the activity, hoping to find weaknesses. They arrived at a distance, hiding behind asteroid belts, scanning human factories and shipyards. What they saw shocked them. Ships were not only operational but also growing in design. Advanced armor adjusted itself for different weapons. Engines learned from test runs and adapted to travel faster and more efficiently. Artificial intelligence controlled navigation and defense systems in ways that made human pilots more effective, not less. Commander Rylock studied the reports again. "They are learning faster than we can predict," he said. "Every move we see, they counter before we act. It is as if they know what we are planning before we plan it." General Vera nodded. "They held back for centuries, giving the appearance of weakness." But restraint was never weakness. It was a choice. Now that it is gone, humans are unstoppable in ways we do not understand. Back on Earth, Lucas received a message from a team in the Arctic. They had discovered a hidden research base that had been sealed for over 50 years. Inside were ships and weapons that no human outside the Council had even known existed. These were advanced vessels designed to explore and fight in deep space, equipped with weapons that could destroy entire enemy fleets if used correctly. Lucas could barely contain his excitement. Claire briefed the Council. "These ships were hidden for safety reasons. Now they can be used. The aliens have no idea we have them. We can surprise them completely." The Council nodded. Their plan was simple but daring. Humans would move without warning, striking only when necessary, and showing the galaxy that restraint had ended. In the Coalition, panic began to spread. Envoys reported humans moving faster than predicted, building fleets in secret and activating weapons with precision. The alien commanders argued with each other. Some wanted to attack immediately, fearing humanity's power. Others wanted to negotiate, hoping to prevent a conflict that could destroy their species. But the humans did not act recklessly. They acted deliberately, calmly, and with purpose. Lucas and Claire watched simulations of fleet movements. Each ship, each squad, each weapon system was tested and optimized. Humans worked in teams that combined experience with innovation. They shared knowledge, corrected mistakes, and improved rapidly. Lucas realized that what made humans dangerous was not just their weapons or fleets. It was their ability to adapt, to learn, and to overcome challenges faster than any alien could anticipate. Claire pointed at the holographic display. "Look at this. They are trying to predict our moves, but every calculation they make is already countered. Our patterns, our formations, they cannot keep up. Humans see possibilities we cannot even imagine." Lucas nodded. He felt a mixture of pride and unease. Pride because humanity had survived against impossible odds, and unease because they were about to show the galaxy how powerful they truly were. As the days passed, the Coalition tried to respond. Fleets moved closer to Earth, attempting to intimidate the humans. Scouts flew over cities, trying to find weaknesses. But every time, humans were ready. Defensive systems activated, AI predicted attacks, and ships moved in ways the aliens could not understand. Commander Rylock's frustration grew. "They are always one step ahead," he said. "How can a species we thought weak move with such certainty?" Back on Earth, Lucas and Claire reviewed reports from a recent simulation. "We are ready," Claire said. "We have prepared for every scenario we can imagine. If they attack again, humans will survive and fight back. We will not be weak this time. Lucas agreed. He knew the coming weeks would test humanity, but he also knew that humans had been tested before, and they had always survived. The coalition began to argue among themselves. Some believed that humans were bluffing, that they would retreat or surrender when faced with real power. Others feared that humans had truly unlocked potential that no other species had seen. The reports from satellites and scouts showed movements of fleets that were unlike anything in the galaxy. Energy weapons that had been forbidden were active. Ships could cloak and move silently, waiting for the perfect moment. Every step humans took was calculated. One night, Lucas stayed in the command center while Claire monitored simulations nearby. He looked at the screens showing alien movements. "They still think we are weak," he said softly. "They do not understand that we were never weak, we were restrained. Now restraint is gone, and they are about to see what happens when humans act without limits." Claire smiled slightly. "They will learn quickly. We are not like they imagined. Humans survive, humans endure, humans adapt. Restraint only kept us quiet. Now we speak through action." As Earth prepared, news from the colonies showed that humans were ready beyond the planet. Hidden bases on the Moon, Mars, and distant satellites had been activated. Supplies and weapons were moved efficiently. Communication systems had been upgraded to prevent interference. Humanity was no longer vulnerable to surprise attacks. They had learned from the massacre. They would not repeat the same mistakes. Commander Rylock watched the latest data from orbit. "We cannot predict them," he admitted. "Every move we see they already counter. We underestimated them before. We cannot afford to underestimate them again." General Vera agreed. "They held back for centuries waiting. Now waiting is over. Humans are dangerous because they choose to be." Lucas and Claire convened with the council again. The plan was now clear. Humans would move strategically, targeting only the threats that endangered survival. They would not act recklessly. They would not waste power. Every move would be deliberate, every strike precise. Humanity would not seek revenge for the massacre, but they would make sure the galaxy understood that restraint had ended. In the quiet moments, Lucas walked outside to see the city rebuilding. Small groups of survivors cleared debris and repaired structures. Children played among the ruins, their laughter a reminder of life continuing even after tragedy. The spirit of humanity was unbroken. Lucas realized that this was what made humans powerful. Weapons and fleets were tools, but resilience, courage, and determination were what truly made humans unstoppable. Claire joined him, watching the stars above. "They still do not understand us," she said. "They think power comes from weapons and ships. They do not see the heart of humanity. That is our strength." Lucas nodded. He understood. Humans had survived because they cared, because they fought not for destruction, but for survival and for each other. The aliens would soon see that restraint was a choice, and once it was gone, humans could do things no one expected. The coalition continued to send envoys and spies, but each report returned with the same conclusion. Humans were prepared, humans were organized, and humans were learning faster than anyone could imagine. Commander Rylock realized that the galaxy had misjudged humanity for too long. General Vera knew that the coming confrontation would be different. Humans would not run, humans would not beg, humans would no longer be restrained. In the command center, Lucas and Claire reviewed the final reports before deployment. Fleets were ready, AI systems were synchronized, and humans across the planet waited for the signal. They were calm, focused, and confident. No one acted recklessly. Every decision was deliberate. The humans who had survived the massacre were now leaders, and their knowledge and courage guided every move. As the first human fleets moved beyond Earth orbit, the coalition watched in disbelief. Ships that had been hidden for decades now appeared fully operational, with weapons and systems that no one had expected. The aliens had prepared for retaliation, but humanity had not only prepared, they had improved, evolved, and adapted. Lucas and Claire stood together, looking at the display showing the movement of fleets. "They still do not understand," Lucille whispered. "And by the time they do, it will be too late." Lucas nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility, but also the pride in humanity's achievements. The massacre had tested them, but now, humans were ready to show the galaxy what it truly meant to survive without restraint. The message had been simple, but the meaning was clear. Humans were no longer restrained. The galaxy would soon understand the full extent of what that meant. and the alien coalition, having underestimated humanity for centuries, was about to face a force it could never ignore. The human fleets moved silently through space, beyond the borders that the alien coalition had long considered safe. Lucas Hall monitored the screens in the command center, his eyes following every ship as they took precise positions. The ships glowed faintly, engines humming, AI systems predicting every possible move the aliens might make. It was a quiet power, one that the coalition could not understand. Humans did not rush. They did not panic. They waited, calm and deliberate, for the perfect moment. Claire Morgan stood beside him, her face lit by the soft glow of the holographic displays. "They will not expect this," she said. "They think humans are reckless. They think we will attack in anger, but we will not. We will show them precision, strategy, and intelligence. That is what makes us dangerous." Across the coalition, Commander Rylock and General Vera were growing anxious. Every report from scouts and probes indicated that humans were moving in ways that defied logic. Fleets appeared where no one expected them. Energy signatures shifted unpredictably. Weapon systems were active, yet there was no sign of hostility. The aliens could not understand the calm confidence of humanity. The first encounter came when a scouting fleet of the coalition crossed into human-controlled space, unaware of the hidden human ships nearby. The humans did not attack immediately. They allowed the aliens to advance, giving them the illusion of advantage. Lucas watched as AI calculations predicted the aliens' next moves, then countered them with precision. Within moments, the alien ships were immobilized, their weapons disabled, and their communication systems jammed. The humans had not destroyed them. They had only neutralized the threat. Claire observed the operation with a sense of satisfaction. "They need to understand," she said. "We are not here to destroy everything. We are here to protect ourselves. Restraint may be gone, but mercy still exists." Lucas nodded, realizing that the aliens would learn a lesson that went beyond technology. Humans fought differently. They fought with purpose, not with rage. The coalition scrambled to respond. Larger fleets moved to engage the human forces, expecting a massive assault. But when they arrived, they found the humans already in positions that countered every strategy the aliens had planned. Weapon systems fired, but not to destroy indiscriminately. They targeted only military installations and combat ships, leaving civilians and infrastructure untouched. The aliens could not believe it. They had expected chaos, destruction, and fear. Instead, they found calculated strikes and controlled power. In the command center, Lucas and Claire reviewed the operation. "They are learning too slowly," Claire said. "Humans adapt, humans anticipate, humans survive. Every move they make, we can predict it and we can respond. It is only a matter of time before they understand that restraint does not equal weakness." Lucas agreed. He could feel the weight of responsibility, but he also felt pride. Humanity was showing the galaxy what it truly meant to be human. The aliens attempted to regroup, sending messages demanding surrender. Humans responded not with threats but with clear statements. Humanity would defend itself, humanity would protect its people, and humanity would survive. The coalition did not understand. They thought humans would panic, would make mistakes, or would retreat. But the humans remained calm, waiting for the perfect opportunity to act. Claire coordinated with pilots across the fleets. Every movement was calculated. Ships shifted positions silently, AI systems predicted attacks before they happened, and humans worked together in ways that no alien could anticipate. Lucas observed the patterns, amazed at the precision and efficiency. It was not only technology that made humans powerful. It was their ability to learn, adapt, and work together. During one encounter, a human ship intercepted a fleet attempting to destroy a civilian colony. The humans moved quickly, disabling weapons and creating a protective shield around the colony. The aliens fired, but every attack was blocked or deflected. The humans had anticipated every tactic. When the battle ended, no civilians were harmed, and the alien fleet had been neutralized without a single loss on the human side. Lucas watched in awe. Humans had the power to destroy, but they chose control. They had the intelligence to kill, but they chose strategy. Back on Earth, the Council received reports from across the galaxy. Humans were advancing, not recklessly, but deliberately. Colonies were being defended, fleets were moving with precision, and alien forces were being neutralized without unnecessary destruction. The message was clear. Humanity had learned from the massacre. They were no longer restrained, and they would act with intelligence and purpose. Commander Rylock called an emergency meeting. "They are not like any species we have faced," he said. "They do not panic, they do not act recklessly, and they do not attack without reason. They are dangerous not because they are angry, but because they think, they adapt, and they learn. Every move we make they have already predicted." General Vera nodded. "We underestimated them for too long. We thought restraint made them weak. Now we see the truth. Humans are dangerous because they choose when to act. They are dangerous because they survive, they endure, and they adapt. We cannot underestimate them again." In the field, Lucas and Claire continued to monitor every engagement. AI systems calculated probabilities, predicted alien strategies, and guided human ships to positions of advantage. Humans moved silently, efficiently, and without fear. Every decision was deliberate. Every action had a purpose. They were not driven by anger or revenge. They were driven by survival, by the protection of their people, and by the desire to endure. During one critical mission, a human fleet intercepted a massive alien armada threatening a colony on Mars. The humans did not attack immediately. They allowed the aliens to advance, then struck with precision. Weapons targeted only combat ships, leaving the colony untouched. The alien fleet was neutralized within hours, unable to understand how the humans had predicted every move. Lucas watched the operation unfold, realizing that humans were teaching the galaxy a new lesson. Strength was not measured by destruction, but by control, intelligence, and resilience. Claire spoke quietly, watching the displays. "They will never understand us fully," she said. "They think power comes from weapons and fear. They do not see the heart of humanity. That is our strength." Lucas nodded. Humans had survived countless disasters, wars, and attacks. Their strength was not in anger or hate. It was in resilience, intelligence, and the ability to endure. The alien coalition struggled to respond. Fleets moved in panic, communication broke down, and internal conflicts arose. Some species wanted to retreat, fearing the humans' precision and adaptability. Others wanted to fight, believing that humans would eventually make mistakes. But humans did not make mistakes. They acted with intelligence, foresight, and purpose. The galaxy had misjudged humanity for centuries. Now the consequences were clear. Lucas and Claire received reports of alien leaders attempting to negotiate. Humans did not respond with threats. They responded with statements of intent. Humanity would defend itself, humanity would protect its colonies, and humanity would survive. The aliens could not understand it. They thought humans would panic or retreat, but humans remained calm, deliberate, and confident. During one tense moment, a small group of alien ships attempted to sneak past human defenses to attack a remote colony. The humans anticipated the move. Ships moved into position, blocking the aliens, while AI systems calculated the best strategy to neutralize them without unnecessary destruction. The aliens fired, but every attack was countered. When the engagement ended, no civilians were harmed and the alien ships were disabled. Humans had not killed out of rage. They had acted with purpose. Lucas turned to Claire, his voice quiet. "They still do not understand. They think humans act recklessly when we strike. But every move is calculated. Every action is deliberate. We fight not to destroy, but to survive. We endure, and that is why we are dangerous." Claire nodded. "Humans have survived disasters before, Lucas: famine, plagues, wars, natural catastrophes. Our strength is not just in weapons. It is in resilience, intelligence, and unity. That is why the galaxy will never underestimate us again." As humans continued to defend colonies and neutralize threats, the coalition began to fracture. Some species surrendered, unwilling to continue a war they could not understand. Others attempted to fight, only to be outmaneuvered at every turn. The humans did not act recklessly. They did not destroy more than necessary. They simply survived, protected their people, and taught the galaxy a lesson it would not forget. In the command center, Lucas and Claire watched reports coming in from all over space. Humans were no longer restrained. They acted with intelligence, precision, and purpose. The galaxy had misjudged them for centuries. Now humanity was showing what it truly meant to survive, to endure, and to adapt. Every move humans made was a statement. Restraint was gone, and the human spirit could not be ignored. As the sun rose on Earth, Lucas looked out over the cities beginning to rebuild. He saw survivors clearing rubble, children playing among ruins, and people helping each other. Humanity had endured the massacre, and now they were stronger than ever. The galaxy would soon understand that humans did not fight recklessly, did not panic, and did not act without purpose. They survived, they adapted, they endured, and that was what made them unstoppable. Claire joined him, looking at the stars. "They will never understand," she said. "They think strength comes from destruction and fear. They do not see the heart of humanity. That is why humans are dangerous. That is why humans endure." Lucas nodded, feeling both pride and determination. Humans had survived the massacre. They had prepared in secret, learned quickly, and now acted without restraint. The alien coalition had misjudged them for centuries, and now the consequences were clear. Humanity would survive. Humanity would endure. And humanity would show the galaxy the true meaning of strength. The first major confrontation had ended, but the message was clear. Humans were no longer restrained. The galaxy would soon learn that survival, intelligence, and resilience made humans more dangerous than any weapon. Lucas and Claire stood together, ready to face the challenges ahead, knowing that humanity's spirit could never be broken after the first major confrontations. The galaxy began to take notice. Reports of human precision, strategy, and restraint spread quickly. Alien races who had once considered humanity weak were now uncertain, fearful, and curious. They could not understand how humans had survived attacks that should have destroyed them. They could not comprehend why humans acted with mercy and intelligence instead of chaos. Humanity had changed the rules of engagement, and no one knew how to respond. Lucas Hall stood in the command center, watching the movement of fleets across space. Every ship was in position, every weapon system ready, and every AI system synchronized. Humans did not act recklessly. They did not rush into battle. They moved with calm, deliberate purpose. Lucas thought of the massacre and the lives lost. He felt a weight of responsibility, but also pride. Humanity had survived, learned, and adapted. Now they were stronger than any alien force could have imagined. Claire Morgan joined him, her eyes scanning the holographic displays. "They are learning slowly," she said. "They still think humans fight like everyone else. They do not see our strategy, our patience, our intelligence. By the time they understand, it will be too late." Lucas nodded. Humans were dangerous not because they were angry, not because they wanted revenge, but because they survived, endured, and acted with purpose. That was a power no one could predict. The coalition continued to send fleets, hoping to intimidate or coerce. Humans intercepted them with calm precision. Weapons disabled enemy ships without destruction, communication systems jammed only when necessary, and colonies were protected from any threat. Aliens grew frustrated. Their plans failed, their attacks were predicted, and their forces were neutralized without chaos. Humans had turned defense into strategy, survival into art. Claire coordinated a mission to a distant colony under threat. The alien fleet was larger than expected, confident that humanity would act recklessly. Lucas monitored AI calculations, predicting every possible move. Humans moved without hesitation. Ships shifted silently, blocked attacks, and created shields around the colony. The aliens fired, but every strike was countered. No civilian was harmed. The humans could have destroyed the enemy fleet entirely, but they chose restraint. They neutralized the threat and left the alien ships intact, disabled but alive. In the council chambers on Earth, leaders reviewed reports from across the galaxy. Human actions had a profound effect. Some alien species surrendered rather than face humans, recognizing the intelligence, adaptability, and endurance that made humanity unstoppable. Others attempted to regroup, but each effort was carefully countered without unnecessary destruction. Humanity was no longer restrained, but they were still deliberate, precise, and merciful. Commander Rylock and General Vera watched the reports with disbelief. "They fight differently," Rylock said. "They do not attack recklessly. They do not destroy everything in their path. They act with purpose, precision, and intelligence. Every move we make is already predicted." Vera nodded. "They were restrained before, but restraint was never weakness. Now it is gone. Humans are dangerous because they survive, they endure, and they choose when to act. They are dangerous because they think." On Mars, human engineers work to restore damaged colonies and upgrade defenses. Lucas visited one of the bases, helping coordinate efforts. Survivors worked together, repairing buildings, sharing supplies, and caring for the wounded. Children played among the ruins, their laughter a quiet defiance against the horrors they had witnessed. Humanity had survived, and it was rebuilding stronger than before. Claire oversaw fleet movements, coordinating attacks, defenses, and logistics. Every operation was calculated. Humans did not fight for revenge. They fought for survival and protection. The galaxy was learning that humanity's strength came not only from weapons but from intelligence, patience, and unity. Aliens could destroy ships, but they could not break the spirit of humans. In one pivotal engagement, a coalition armada attempted to blockade a human colony on a distant asteroid belt. Humans did not attack immediately. Instead, they positioned fleets to protect civilians while disabling the enemy's weapons. The aliens were confused. They expected humans to strike in anger or fear. Instead, humans acted deliberately, neutralizing threats without unnecessary harm. Within hours, the armada was rendered ineffective, its ships stranded and unable to continue attacks. Humans had won not through destruction but through strategy and foresight. Lucas observed the aftermath. "This is what makes humans dangerous," he said to Claire. "We survive. We endure, we adapt, and we fight with intelligence, not just power," Claire smiled. "The galaxy is learning it the hard way. They underestimated us for centuries. Now every species will remember that humans are not weak. Restraint is gone, and we are unstoppable." The Council convened to draft new interstellar agreements. Instead of imposing rules on humans, humans now set the terms. Treaties were written to protect peace, but they were clear. Humanity would defend itself and its allies, and no attack would go unanswered. Aliens were surprised. Humans did not act recklessly or cruelly. They acted with purpose and strategy, showing that restraint could coexist with strength. In the coalition, morale broke down. Species argued about how to respond. Some wanted to surrender. Others wanted to fight, believing they could eventually outsmart humans. But humans continued to act with precision, moving fleets strategically, defending colonies, and neutralizing threats without unnecessary destruction. The aliens began to understand that human strength was not only in weapons, but in intelligence, patience, and endurance. Lucas and Claire reviewed reports from every colony. Humans had achieved something remarkable. No civilian had died in any engagement after the first months. Every human fleet movement was deliberate, every AI calculation precise. The galaxy was learning a new truth. Humans were no longer restrained, and their power came from intelligence, adaptability, and unity. One day, a coalition envoy arrived to negotiate. Humans welcomed them, offering terms of peace. The aliens were wary. They expected threats, intimidation, and anger. Instead, humans spoke calmly with clarity and confidence. They explained their actions, their goals, and their principles. Restraint may be gone, but humans still valued life, strategy, and survival. The envoy was surprised. They realized that humans were not simply fighters, they were thinkers, planners, and survivors. Lucas watched the envoy leave, feeling a sense of accomplishment. Humanity had survived the massacre. They had prepared in secret, learned quickly, and acted without restraint when necessary. But they had also shown mercy, strategy, and intelligence. The galaxy had underestimated humans for too long, and now the lesson was clear. Humanity endured, adapted, and survived because they chose to. Claire looked at Lucas. "The galaxy will remember this," she said. "Humans are dangerous because they think, because they endure, and because they act with purpose. No one can underestimate us again." As the sun rose over Earth, cities were rebuilt, colonies strengthened, and fleets fully operational. Humans had faced the massacre, survived the initial attacks, and demonstrated to the galaxy that restraint was not weakness but a choice. Now that choice was gone. Humans acted with strategy, intelligence, and endurance. The galaxy would never forget. Commander Rylock sent his final report to the coalition. "Humans are unlike any species we have encountered," he wrote. "They survive when others fail. They fight with intelligence, not rage. They endure when others collapse. We underestimated them, and now we see the consequences. Humanity is no longer restrained, and they are unstoppable in ways we cannot predict." Back on Earth, Lucas and Claire stood together, watching the stars. Fleets moved silently, colonies thrived, and the galaxy began to change. Humanity had survived, adapted, and endured. They had shown the galaxy that restraint was not weakness. They had proven that intelligence, strategy, and endurance were the greatest weapons of all. Lucas took a deep breath. "We survived the massacre," he said. "We endured, and now the galaxy knows. Humans are not weak, humans will not be restrained, and humans will endure no matter what comes." Claire nodded. "We fought with strategy, protected our people, and showed the galaxy our strength. Restraint may be gone, but humanity's heart remains. We survived, and we will continue to endure." The galaxy slowly came to terms with the new reality. Species who had once considered humans weak now approached with caution and respect. Humans set the terms of engagement, protected their colonies, and ensured that no attack would go unanswered. They had acted without restraint, but with intelligence, strategy, and purpose. Humanity's actions had changed the galaxy forever. As Lucas walked through the streets of New York, now partially rebuilt, he saw children playing among ruins, families rebuilding homes, and communities working together. Humans had survived the worst, and now they thrived. The massacre had tested them, but humanity had endured. They had chosen survival over despair, intelligence over chaos, and strategy over recklessness. The galaxy had learned that humans were unstoppable when unrestrained. Claire joined him, smiling at the activity. "We have shown them what it means to be human," she said. "We survive, we endure, and we adapt. The galaxy cannot ignore us. Restraint may be gone, but our strength is more than weapons. It is our heart, our mind, and our spirit." Lucas nodded. Humanity had survived the massacre. They had prepared in secret, acted with precision, and endured when others would have fallen. They had shown mercy when it was possible and struck decisively when it was necessary. The galaxy would never forget the day humans declared that they would no longer be restrained. As the stars glimmered above, humans continued their work, rebuilding, preparing, and surviving. The galaxy watched, learning a new truth. Humans endure, humans adapt, and humans are unstoppable. Restraint was gone, but humanity's spirit remained stronger than ever. The massacre had not broken them. It had made them stronger, smarter, and more determined. Lucas and Claire stood together, watching the fleets move into the depths of space, colonies thriving, and humanity taking its place among the stars. The galaxy had underestimated humans for too long, and now the lesson was clear. Humans would survive, humans would endure, and humans would no longer be restrained. The story ended not with destruction, but with a new beginning. Humans had survived the massacre, adapted, and shown the galaxy the true meaning of strength. Intelligence, strategy, and endurance were humanity's greatest weapons, and the galaxy would never underestimate them again.